Here, and today I want to work with you on 5 drills that are going to help to strengthen your core. So when I talk about the core, I don't just mean your abdominal muscles, even though those are incredibly important. We're going to also work your transverse abdominis, we'll work your glutes, your hip flexors, and also your shoulders. So basically the entire trunk is what we're going to focus on today because that's your core. Our first exercise is going to take us into a little bit of yoga, and we're going to work in a posture called Lalasana. So we'll take our 2 blocks to start, and we're going to place the blocks so that they are about shoulder distance apart. Now if you don't have blocks, that's fine, you don't necessarily need them. I find that the blocks are helpful because they help to lift the arms a little bit and they create more space between your body and the ground. You'll see why that can be helpful. So once you have your blocks, place them on the lowest setting so that they're most stable. Place them shoulder distance apart, put your hands on your blocks. You can start with your knees about under your hips and then come up into this little variation of cat pose. You're going to pause here if this is already enough for you. If pulling your navel into your spine and creating a nice little arch to the back is already really working your muscles, you can work in this spot. If you'd like to take it into Lalasana, we're going to step the right foot forward, bring the top of the foot to the ground, followed by the left foot, shift your weight forward, and then step back, right? Now we're going to reverse that, this time taking the left leg forward, right leg forward. Take it back. All right, so that's going to be the basic movement, with or without the blocks. We're going to do that 10 times. You ready? Let's go for it. Hands to blocks, variation of cat, and let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you guys got it, 5 more, 6, hollow up the belly, 7, 8, 9, press firmly through those hands, last one, woo! Awesome, great way to start feeling the burn super early. So I recommend doing maybe 3 sets of 10 if your body is up for it, you can work up towards that. And another way to add more of a challenge, if you started off with the blocks, take the blocks away. That's going to really encourage you to draw your knees in towards the chin and get a lot more out of that range of motion and a lot more core engagement. Next, we're coming into kettlebell lifts. You don't need the kettlebells, but if you want a little extra challenge, I recommend doing it. So you can take the kettlebell, come into a seated position with your legs extended. Move the flesh away from your sit bones so you can really root down through your sit bones. And you're going to hold the kettlebell like this. Now, the trick is to articulate through the spine, bring each little segment of your vertebrae down to the mat as you lower the upper body down. Try to keep your legs anchored. So I'm going to start off here. Extend the kettlebell as I lean back. Slowly lower myself down, raise the kettlebell just above my head, and then I'm going to use that forward motion to help me articulate all the way up and draw it in. So we're going to aim to do that 10 times and take it nice and slow. It's more important that you focus on the articulation than going quickly. So if you only get through 5 or 8, that's completely cool. So we're going to start again, aim for 10, let's do it. Slowly down. 1, 2. I can definitely feel a sticky spot in my back where it doesn't quite want to articulate. Just really try to work through those. 3. 4. I can definitely feel that. 5. Halfway there, you guys, we got this. 6. 7. I can feel myself sliding, really trying to get each little vertebrae on the ground. 8. Keep pulling your belly button back towards the ground as you lower down. 9. That's going to make sure that you're keeping engaged and you're drawing your belly back and instead of letting it bulge forward. Last one, 10. Awesome, great work, guys. Woo! All right, so we're gonna set the kettlebell aside for now, and we're gonna go right into our bellies to work a little bit more in our back. So come lying flat onto your tummy, and you want to bring your feet so that they're about hip distance apart and the tops of your toes rest onto the ground. From there, you want to take your arms and make cactus arms. So what that'll look like is bringing your elbows in line with your shoulders and having your palms face forward. So come down, cactus arms, and we're gonna do Supermans with our arms in cactus pose. So that's gonna be inhaling to lift your head, your chest, your arms, as well as your legs. 10 of those. 1, 2, draw the shoulders and elbows down the back. 3, 4, try to keep your legs straight as you lift. 5, 6, keep the chest lifted. 7, lead with the sternum. 8, 9, 10. Fantastic. Take it back into child's pose. So take your knees wide, let your big toes come together, sink your hips down and back. From there, start to crawl your hands forward, let your forehead rest onto the ground. If you find that your sit bones don't make contact with the ground, you can keep them slightly lifted or just place like a blanket or a pillow under your glutes. You can also rest your forehead on a block if your forehead doesn't come to the ground just yet. Nice. We don't want to cool down too much, so we are going to keep it going. We're going to come into an exercise that works from boat pose. So if you do yoga, you're familiar with boat pose, this might be familiar with you. We're going to come into half boat and play around with that. So you'll start off by bringing your feet so that they're about a foot or so from your glutes, and you want to find a little balancing point. So just rock back onto your sit bones and you can feel yourself balance. You can leave your toes down on the ground for stability, but if you want a little extra challenge, I recommend taking your feet completely off the ground. Pause and work here. If this is already really good for you, you can work on lifting the chest, drawing your thighs and your rib cage together, and take 10 breaths here. If you want to integrate some movement, you can take the arms wide, draw them in, and then as you take the arms wide, try to straighten the legs, and we're going to work here, all right? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, knees to chest, 5, 4, 3, pull the belly back towards the mat, 2, and 1. Nice. Nicely done. You guys are on fire. You're doing great. We just have one more exercise left. And I think that you guys can do it. I believe in you. Let's come lying down onto our back. For those of you who are familiar with yoga, we're going to come into a variation of bridge pose. So once you're on your back, bring your feet so that they're as close to your glutes as you can get them. I have very long arms, so I'm able to touch my feet, but it's okay if you can't touch your feet. Take your shoulder blades, draw them slightly together, and let the flat blade of your shoulder sort of rest onto the mat. Take the tailbone, inhale, begin to lift it up. So this is the first portion, right? We're just gonna lift the hips and lower. If this is good for you, work in this space. If you want a little bit of more of a challenge and you want to integrate the upper body, this is going to be really good for your transverse abdominis and your pelvic floor. You want to inhale, lift the arms, bring the arms down to the mat above your head. Exhale, lower. Now I feel like I may have jumped out of the frame, so I'm going to scoop down a little bit just to make sure you guys can see all of me. But as I'm doing that lift, I'm lifting my pelvic floor, drawing my navel back towards my spine, and trying to knit my rib cage together. So it's kind of hard to see what's happening in my core because I'm talking, but I'm trying to draw the lower points of my ribs in towards each other. So all of that is happening at the same time. Let's aim to do 10. Ready? Go. Inhale, lift and engage. Exhale, lower. Nice. 2, 3, see if it feels better to reverse. 6, so that you're exhaling on the way up and inhaling on the way down. 7, different strokes, work for different folks. 8, 9, keep doing those kegels with every lift. 10. Awesome, good work guys. And now we're just gonna stretch it out very gently. So come lying down onto your abdomen. Take your hands, bring them pretty close to your rib cage. Squeeze your elbows back and in. Press the tops of your feet into the mat and lift. We're aiming to lengthen and do a little bit of stretching more than we're strengthening the back. So it's okay if you're putting some weight into your hands. So we just finished stretching our front region, so let's go ahead and stretch the back body. Take hold of 2 of your blocks if you're deciding to use them today. Put them about shoulder distance apart at the top of your mat, and then bring your hands so that they're flat onto your blocks. Walk your knees back and take them maybe just about shoulder distance apart. We're not going to take them mat distance apart today for this one. Sink your hips back. And then let your torso round over the blocks. Let your over your knees and let your forehead drop. Press your hands down into your blocks and get a nice little stretch for the back. Take a few breaths here. Nice, last breath. And come on out. So if you're doing these as a circuit, I would recommend maybe doing 10 of each one and then taking a break for about a minute and then going back and doing another set of 10 of each one, take a break for a minute, and then so all together you're doing 3 sets of 10 for each. You can always work up to 10 if that's feeling good for you. If you want to add more intensity, you can get a heavier kettlebell if you're doing the exercises with the kettlebells. So there's lots of really great options here. So I hope you enjoyed the video for today. Please remember to subscribe. Be sure to leave any comments of different video ideas that you might have for the future. And it's been great working out with you guys. Bye.